Today, we have come to the University of Maine to discuss the world's most uncomfortable topic, porn. So get your tissues ready, because this one's gonna be a real tearjerker. We've got real interviews with real students, real doctors, real answers.
What would you describe as pornography?
Sexual pictures, videos, and anything that's meant to be sexual entertainment for somebody, either watching or listening.
Images or videos containing nudity or sexual acts.
Any sexual act that's filmed or written about.
Pornography is known for, in general, as a definition, sexually explicit material designed to arouse you. It comes from the Greek term, actually, writings about prostitutes.
Do you think that pornography could be used for sexual education purposes?
I think so. When I was in high school, they used something that it wasn't complete porn.
I feel like it definitely could be educational. Porn nowadays, people in the industry all say it's a hyperbole, and you get the pizza guy or the girl with no money, and I think it could be used educationally if it's set up that way, but I don't think regular porn would be good for sexual education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my experience, most educational systems have pretty limited sexual education, and I think, at least when I was growing up, a lot of kids were learning through pornography and porn sites. They were getting all their information from there.
I guess it could in some sense.
Of course. They should be teaching more in depth about sex, masturbation, all of those things, and you could use porn as one of those things. It's you can search anything online, and if you're at least teaching those kids, teaching them safe ways and not getting caught in traps where they can potentially be hurt, I think it should be taught in the safety aspect.
Well, I think as an adult, watching porn, we learn lots of interesting things. So in some ways, yes, it's educational to see, whoa, I never thought of that. But for most people, it's fantasy. It's not something they're interested in doing.
Based off a recent study, sexologists and therapists claim the inability to get and maintain an erection due to high exposure to porn. This being said, how much porn is too much porn?
I would think another person would help you get more hard because they're actually there instead of just watching someone on a screen.
I could see how it could be true. I don't know if it is.
I can see that happening, if you set your expectations through what you're watching, and those can be very hard to meet in an actual sexual interaction. So that would definitely be a problem for some people.
Not with me personally. I haven't heard of any of my friends happening with this, but I do think it is a possibility that it could happen.
Your question is if guys are watching too much porn and then they can't have sex. I don't know. Maybe if you're just don't have it in you anymore.
Well, let's back up, first of all. I'd like you to show me the research, because there is no research to suggest that this is actually the cause of any kind of erection problem. Almost all young men have watched porn. To then say, oh, I'm having an erection problem, so it's because of the porn, is sort of a very loosey-goosey connection. That we don't put porn in a context. Porn is fantasy. It's not a documentary. It's a fantasy, and let's leave it at that and be able to understand it for what it is, instead of assuming greater issues than that with pornography. Yeah.
And there's kind of a stigma around porn that it can be considered, or some partners consider it cheating?
It's like not really cheating because you're not really like having like sex with another person, I guess.
No, I don't think it's a good idea, but it's not true because there's no action involved. If anything, it's just you're just by yourself. So no.
I think some people are more conservative about that kind of thing. With others, like I can separate that from like my significant other, so I don't think it's cheating.
I don't think so, as it's not like, it's still just you. You're not going out of your way to have any like relations with somebody else.
No.
No.
People have needs. Can't always fill all those needs at like a certain time of the day. So, no.
Respect. Do you find that it should be considered shameful to watch porn in public places?
Probably yes in public places. I think it's like more of like a private thing.
In public places, I think it's kind of weird, but I don't know. I'd be shameful. I think it's just uncomfortable if somebody were to see you watching it. So.
Yeah, just because having the exposure to people who like don't have a choice.
Maybe in public places, just because it's like, it's not really one of those everyday things that you're supposed to talk about or really get into, so it might be embarrassing for a lot of people to just be on Pornhub or something in public.
Yeah.
I don't think you should like watch it like right out in the open, but like you do you. That's super ballsy, so like.
So kind of like pick where you do it in
Yeah,
public?
I would say, I wouldn't say I would ever do it, but like if that's what you're into, go ahead.
Okay.
But like, don't do it. There's small children around. That's like not okay.
Okay, so would you consider a porn star to also be a prostitute
Maybe its own separate thing. Yeah, I think its own separate thing.
because it's on camera?
Yeah.
Or
I haven't
what
thought
would
about
say?
that. I guess in the end, there's not a lot of difference there.
In a way, kind of. I see it more as like an entertainer. Porn star does the same thing, only at kind of a higher level. So I think it could be considered, yes, a prostitute in some ways, but also not a prostitute in other ways.
No.
How would they differ?
They have to follow so many rules and regulations. They have to be tested. They can't sleep with people unless they're tested. Like, there's a whole slew of things they have to do. They're not just like on a corner. They're not prostitutes. They're just doing a job they like or they fit into well. They don't fit like regular categories. They can't just be like a teacher or a business person or whatever. This is what they're good at.
They have certain skills.
They have a skill set and they're working on it.